There's a cult of mind-reading sociopaths on Reddit. First time poster here. Heard countless stories on YouTube, so here is mine. Be me. On Reddit for years. Having countless subs, I end up in one about Zen, an interest of mine. Filled with wackos saying what's apparently gibberish. Stories of harassment abound. Mods complicit. They see me and it starts. They take turns taking shots at me. I said least than nothing at this point. This is called Dharma combat. They claim to be driving each other nuts as a sport. If you enter the sub you are game. Throwaways are tossed by the dozen. Messages and comments are occasionally extremely personal and about things nobody said anything about. About a dozen groups are coordinated in this effort. Another bunch seem mentally ill and struggling, thinking that somehow sticking around is a sign of courage. The energy is addictive. Most people leave after experiencing the harassment. Someone exposes them as a closet cult around a person. The leader at the time of this post is dead. Someone suggests the leader faked his death after repeated denounces of sexual abuse, including children. Fight the assholes to the best of my ability, but the mods are siding with them. They hate me. Get banned. Fuck these fools.jpg. The leader, supposedly, continues interacting on that place, a closet recruitment ground for adepts, to be used for reasons that are not disclosed. Not long after being banned, a throwaway tells me the leader is dead, showing me a screen capture of the email he got. Bullshit.web. The leader is a seasoned yogi that even brags about being able to stop his heartbeat and breathing to near zero. The evil cult leader fulfilled his plan of living beyond the mechanical masses of humanity by faking his death. Was living in Sweden, now probably living somewhere else in Europe. The cult members continue harassing me day in day out, but less as time passes. The leader is dead, they say. Forget about us. The leader is among them. Send bro tips for avoid mind reading. What's the sub so I can go check it out for myself? People like that need to learn there is always someone better than you. The Zen one. The main one. Has over 100k users. Mostly bots though. Pretty much the nobody general threads here on this site BTW. Glowies is the logical answer, but there's obviously a spiritual component. Besides tinfoil hats, there are few things to do about that. Mindfulness, mantras, affirmations, and learning to control/reflect rage towards your enemies. I think that's where psyops, surveillance, and government connections confuses things and throws you down endless rabbit holes. There's certain bloodlines on this plane, psi abilities, and Hilux/golems that are true, so this asshole is probably just a left-hand occultist being a piece of shit loser. Left-hand occultist being a piece of shit loser. Sounds about right. I've experienced subs like this. Have you tried smaller ones? Also, if you know anything about Zen, their conduct in that sub, which you called harassment, should make perfect sense to you. Harassment is meant to take you out of your own head and hopefully experience a momentary glimpse of enlightenment. I thought a Reddit could mind read, they are too autistic, a different viewpoint would drive them mad. Imagine anime lolis, so now they have to stop or they get cancelled by the mind reading Anons on Twitter. We have one of the r/Zen people here. Defending sociopathic harassment as benevolent, compassionate action. I was bound to happen. Took you long enough. Sexually assaulting people is kosher too? Wackos. You have hijacked Zen and made it the psychopathic playground of your evil leader. Keep it up, that's the highway to hell. That sub is a personality cult around one autist who is rejected by all extant Zen lineages. Strangely enough, they can be somewhat intuitive, but in a shallow way. That's pretty accurate. Not sure about autistic, but certainly megalomaniacal. He thinks his way is the actual way and lives to poach people from other ways. Amusing. You talk about these chumps and you get harassed within the hour. You sociopaths sure hate publicity, huh? No interesting in being among the psychopaths around a fat, evil leader. Thank you for coming here. Be sure to tip the waitress. And my regards to the fat sob. Nothing says mind-reading sociopaths like having not one but two of them coming within the hour here, to this website, to this post, to try to attack you for exposing them for what they do on Reddit. One saying harassment is zen and the other saying you should go back and stay there. That's where they wanted me, in the middle of them, subject to endless psychological torture and calling it compassion. Shit just got more interesting. That's how they roll. Lot of effort for an evil cult leader pretending to be dead. Depending on how much you share on Reddit, maybe they work with other websites, it can be the moderators fucking with you. I've had this happen on 4chan/VG/board when I was trolling a game general I didn't like. Some Anon started bringing up stuff I had posted in other boards despite the fact that I always post as Anon, don't reuse images, etc. Logically I pissed off a mod, who unlike a Janny, does it for money. Well, on Reddit mods don't get paid. In my case these were users. The mod seemed oblivious but allowed the craziness of the users fly. I can't speak on any mind reading because I don't plan on interacting with these kooks, but there is something odd about the comments on that sub. Just a little more weird and vicious than your average Reddit comment section, especially considering the topic they've gathered to talk about. Somehow they want to sell that Buddhism, arguably one of the most peace-loving religions in the world, is about psychological torture to the point of psychological break. That's not Buddhism, that is cult induction and brainwash. Breaking people to build them back to their liking. More people can read minds than I think you realize up. Also, Reddit is unironically filled with shills and glowies pushing the mainstream narrative extremely hard. The method of wage war by means of deception often uses redefinition as a weapon. By changing the meaning of a word they create the effect they are seeking while leaving everything as it was otherwise. This is intended to be a form of battle with no battle necessary, specifically most useful with the intended target unaware that the attack is even happening. Same thing happened to me when I started speaking against the music industry. Keep doing your thing. I dealt with the same shit with the music industry. Strange that their process is very similar in theory to these Zen Buddhists you're talking about. Very strange. Stay anonymous and watch who you befriend. Generally after 3 to 5 4chan posts which you can identify as a single person you can derive specific things about their inner methodology that they might not be aware of even themselves. In person? Anyone with a clean heart will read you in less than a minute just watching you. Only advice I can give here is it has a lot to do with blood flow. With a clean heart? Talk about BS. Pure hearts cannot see that deep. Also, a clear heart means nothing if you act like a sociopath. The path to hell is filled with good-hearted assholes either misled or ill-willed. You are what you do, not how clean your energy is. Be careful or you'll end up in hell wondering how it happened. I know a very particular bunch of people who should have been more careful to who they give their gifts. That shit sucks, like how the fuck are you supposed to find a normal girlfriend anymore? Fucking hell, no one wants a freak. No comment on the rest. No surprise. Aren't you a little far from r/Zen? Keep defending the rapist sociopath pretending to be an avatar. See where that gets you, blood flow. Thanks for making my point. Nothing validates my posts more than the harassment so great that has no other explanation than deep corruption. If you could see as much as you pretend to see you wouldn't be in this mess. A fortune teller pretending to be a Buddha. What a fucking sham. I heard as much. This guy is not government, though he could have or have had a government connection at some point. He was born in the US. You probably can get the truth by yourself, and then realize it's a useless thing to hold. Personally, as long as I'm not in front of someone really needing help, I don't see the point in saying anything. Just please keep mind reading Wayman out of my world, thanks. Dude, these people love to do evil and hide behind this veneer of good. They get a high out of it. Like you said, they are borderline sociopaths with an enormous ego you wouldn't believe. They very much infiltrated the whole occult world and are playing people like fiddles from the shadows. They obviously don't believe themselves that they are Buddhas or anything of the sort. They even call themselves demons, that's their gang sign, so to speak. Truly they aren't worthy of engagement. 0.0. What has this one stumbled upon? I would not wish that sheesh upon the enemies of Greg. Be me. Get cryptic letter from a gang stalker. Who makes the honey? The anatomy of your consciousness is very complex. Thoughts go through a process before they reach a point in which they're completely thoughts. The spark that begins in the top of your neck and base of your head, if it's not reacted to and released before it reaches your imagination and inner monologue, and the place where you react to and then remember thoughts, they can't hear it. Meditation allows immense control over this. Also, if you're willing to use magic to make them go away. If you're not particularly knowledgeable and aren't really sure of what you're doing, or of how to foster yourself properly, don't use it aggressively, use it to achieve a positive end in regards to the situation that gives you what you want. Like, rather than harming them, wish for your privacy plus peace plus safety. It's much harder for magic to be tampered with and diverted if it's positive. Also, I'm not sure how correct I am on LE anatomy on this one, but the state of detachment from meditation is infinitely helpful, but they can still read things about your life, as well as the symbols you associate with. And, just ignore them. They, in my experience, lose interest in you if you're not fun to play with. It was a very bad idea for Op to stay and fight, especially when they had no relevant tools to genuinely handle the situation. They, also, in my experience, aren't really that malicious. None of them have ever really tried to attack me or genuinely hurt me in any way, just get a reaction or annoy me or make me spiral. If you stay a long enough time in any community, you will begin to see signs of mind reading. In actual fact, this is more like mind alignment. Your thought processes are converging with that of others because you share similar interests and are exposing yourself to the same material that they are day by day. Of course you will think about the same things. Basic maths dictates that eventually you will begin to see threads and posts which synchronize with your thoughts. In actual fact, it would be stranger if you didn't. You are looking for evidence of something, so you see it. This is confirmation bias. Mind reading isn't real. You see, you think you are a clever seer. You feel somewhat, can translate something, but you have no seeing worth a shit. Trying to reflect whatever ugliness you see while ignoring all the rest is not seeing, is just being an op. If you were a seer, a true seer at that, you wouldn't be in this mess. You are nothing but a mindless drone of your evil guru. An NPC he captured to do his bidding while he hides, because why would he fight his own battles when he has you for cannon fodder? Do you see that? Do you see you going with the flow of the gutter? Acting out and feeling spontaneous while doing the bidding of a rapist, criminally insane sociopath? Not, because you are not a seer. You are fortune teller with an attitude. My regards to the POS, who hides like the bitch that he is. Get it? Har har har. That is how bots online work, when the bot handler wants to harass you / everyone reading. As human beings we share like 99.9% same DNA. Our brains are very similar. If we are feeding our brains the same input, then it makes sense that the output, i.e. our internal dialogue, will be the same. This really isn't hard to understand. For real, the real deal is sending some cannon fodder to do their tasks, is what bastards loves to do, but of course I kept fighting as a crazy youngling trying to see how could I beat them all. You have no fucking clue what this suffering means. For you looks funny probably because they are like you, and you love it, you delight yourself in the pleasure of the suffering of the innocent. This is why I hated most of you and your power leverages. Good thing, Epsilon. Yup. In this case those are meat bots though, human bots. NPCs. To be honest, after reading/hearing gang stalking threads and learning that it is a service that costs millions, I feel kind of flattered by the morbid attention. Too bad these don't see a dime for their nefarious task. Having cultists doing your bidding makes being a psychopath extremely cheap. Whatever, dude. You are at paranormal saying that doesn't exist. Why would you bother? CYA. I'm trying to offer you some comfort. Do you take pleasure in the thought that people can read your mind? Of course not. Our minds are the last bastion of privacy we have on this wretched earth. If we lose that, we have nothing. Greece is not the real deal, but you will die before admitting it. Enough attention for you, lil psycho. You know damn well how I feel. Your mirror parlor trick and your attention seeking won't save him from his karmic outcome, nor save you of yours. Good luck with all of that. My mother does not speak English, so when I was reading about how to store sage, a part was about mincing it. I know what it is, but I didn't know how to say it in Spanish. I opened Google Translator, and as soon as I saw the word "desminuts" on my screen, my mother asked me from the kitchen. Yes, if that's not mind reading, I don't know what it is, but whatever word it would have been, she could have read it from my mind. Do you know about the triplicate? They multiplied the suffering to the complete. He refused to declassify the identity of the involved, and probably got afraid of the MK Delta activation of the duplicate. My fate is already sealed because both sides got their part on this shit just for me to pay the price alone. Both sacks of shit. My bad act was thinking the good deeds were enough. I already identified their master, but you know what is really going on as both sides dismiss their karmic debt by imputing it on others. 2/3 of the population are telepathic reptilians, dude, but the firmament is cracking, so now people can see them. Just don't post on the Zen Mind Reading subreddit with your main account where you overshare your entire life, stupid. LOL. These threads get crazy real fast. Where? I thought I saw something weird the other. It was what seemed to be a black person body, but the skin was like paint white with red ass lips. They parked in front of a flower store, so it could have been some lady in entertainment, but when I looked over she looked shocked. I don't know, I'm in a big city, so I'm sure the system wouldn't be glitchy here. Timeliness that has yet to collapse. Does the flower have a butterfly? Mysteries abound. Won't be found here. Shrugs, but in a way that indicates a certain tepid sincerity. I looked into the sub and truly found some random, really cryptic and confusing conversation in their comments. This is making me curious. Don't use Windows or a smartphone. The cult is very secretive, but at the same time they are in a public forum, even if it is anonymous. The irony is that the fat cult leader said at some point that nothing real happens in a public space. A confession of sorts that his is a faux affair.
Gucci gang. Heard you guys like eating Tide Pods. I should be here to tell you that's wrong. Not that I blame you all anyways. I'm such a snack, wouldn't you say?